Tina Samanga.
Alright, everyone just lower your expectations out of there's been a lot of build up for this, so I don't think it's going to be as fantastic as you think, but I'll give it a nudge anyways. So, good evening everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, what a day, that was outstanding out there. My name is Tina Samanga, obviously I've been introduced a few times already, and I am proud to be Nick's best mate. A while back now, Nick met someone. One of the most incredible, stunning, intelligent, funny human beings he had ever met. And obviously this led him to make one of the best decisions of his life. And that, of course, making me best man. Now, I have to tell you, I was a little worried when writing the speech. Emma had given me strict instructions of what to say and what not to say. And many do's and don'ts. So after careful consideration, I've actually ended up writing 3 speeches, which I have with me here, right here. These range from mild and chilled out to high levels and extreme levels of spice. And so that I can't be... Spice, bro. So that I can't be blamed for any inappropriate comments or stories, everyone here tonight will decide which speech I read. In envelope 1, I have a speech called Muy Tranquilo, which is Spanish for very chilled. In envelope 2, I have a speech called Muy Caliente, which is Spanish for very hot. And in envelope 3, I have a speech called Muchos Grandes Fuegos, which is Spanish for many large fires. Alright. So as I read these out again, can I ask you guys to make as much noise as possible for each speech you want me to read, alright? Are you ready? Alright, shall it be envelope 1? Muy tranquilo. No takers, okay. Maybe not that one. Should it be envelope number 2? Muy caliente. Okay. Maybe. Alright, or should it be envelope number 3? Muchos grandes. Well, there you have it. Excellent choice, everyone.
He doesn't have any other one anyway.
Emma, Nick, their parents, Joe, Rick, JP and Mo, and all respectable people here tonight. I'm sorry, but the contents of the speech is no longer my fault. Again, wow, wasn't it a fantastic day, and I'm sure you can all agree. What an amazing ceremony, an amazing venue here at Tantalus in Waiheke. The weather was outstanding, and you all look fantastic here in your number 1s. And it's also good to see that you're all replacing your electric lights with the fuel of the alcoholic kind since this reception has began. I know Emma has put a lot of hard work into preparing this perfect day, and what a fantastic job she has done. And on the other side, I know Nick will be relieved to have everyone's wedding organising advice come to an end. To the bride and the bridesmaids, you all look stunning today. Emma in particular, you looked beautiful up there. I think Nick now has officially raised to a status of punching above his weight. Sharing the status with many people in the room tonight, including Dan Watnell, Rick Maloney, Barnaby Melville, and of course my girlfriend Tori Sumner. A quick shout out to the groom and the groomsmen. Looking good, boys. Looking this good does not come easy. 3 suit fittings, 2 mood boards, some fine Italian threads, with an urgent delivery from Portugal to get us in shape, but I think we scrubbed up okay. So Nick, mate, I'm truly honoured to have stood beside you today as your best man. The memories we have created over the past 20 years have been some of the best and ones I will never forget. But I have to say, standing here today watching you marry the girl of your dreams was a highlight for sure. So the speech. I'd like to give some of my personal insights to the man, the guy, the groom, Nick Maloney, and the background and building blocks that led through his transition into a life with his beautiful bride, Emma. Believe me, it's hard to break this complex guy's life into 15 minutes, or 10 minutes or whatever. So to make it easier, I've divided his background into 3 phases, which I call Snow for his younger years, Dinninster for his early teenage years, and Mullers, which takes us to the guy we see here before us today. The story goes something a little like this. The Snow phase, for those unaware, was a name given to Nick by his parents because of his golden white locks in his younger formative years. If one was to describe Nick during the Snow phase, it could be well summarised with the term mama's boy. The Oxford Dictionary defines mama's boy as a man who is excessively attached to his mother at any age when the men are expected to be independent. This special treatment was evident to everyone at school for those early years. From boasting the best lunch on the playground, as no doubt Joe would be whipping to the bakery in the morning, to having the coolest threads on the schoolyard. I have it under good authority from the Oracle, the Cosmopolitan magazine, that mama's boy syndrome can particularly be difficult when there's another lady on the scene. Emma, for your benefit, I will list a couple of hot tips for dealing with mama's boys. The first tip from the Cosmo is you must always be aware that his mum will turn up often and oftenly unannounced. This means any time. This could include in the middle of date night, or worse, in the middle of you playing Twister in the bedroom. Emma, my advice in regards to this is simple. Get a good door lock and lock your front door, or remain celibate for the rest of your days. I think you might want to consult with Nick on that one first. All jokes aside, I believe that in many ways that mama's boy syndrome has actually been a positive in Nick's development as a man and the person that you fell in love with him in. Anyone that knows Nick knows that he's a very kind, thoughtful, generous and warm individual, loyal to a fault, and an absolute whiz in the kitchen. These qualities are no doubt essential for an open, loving and sustaining marriage. This being said, Nick has a special and unique way of showing his emotions and can sometimes be hard to read. I remember it was my birthday. My mum handed Nick a card to write a message in. After 10 minutes of very deep and considered thought, Nick handed the card back to my mum. Expecting a huge and deep, insightful message, it simply read, "Happy B-Day, bro, Nick." Though a mama's boy, you can see the development of his infectious character shining through the dad Rickster, as we saw here today. In contrast, I remember a story when Nick had his foot run over by the boat as Rick was backing it down the driveway. With a bloody foot and teary-eyed Nick, the feedback from Rick was simple. He shouldn't have been there and told to harden the F up. Rick's love for life is a huge part of your husband, Emma. To be honest, and actually, when they take their shirts off, it's hard to determine who is in better shape. So I hope you are fond of Rick. Emma, so I hope you are fond of Rick, as you have just married Rick Jr. So, to summarise the Snow years, I think his characteristics stem from his loving family that has surrounded Nick. His mum Jo, dad Rick and brother Jamie. Actually, Emma, whilst marrying a mama's boy has its downsides, I think you have much to thank Nick's mum and his family for their contribution to the man throughout his formative phase. I'd like to make a toast to Nick's family. The motto is. Alright. The next period I will refer to as his da_Ninster69, which was his nickname, which was the name Nick gave himself as he thought it might help him pull the babes on his MSN account. This period refers to Nick's life roughly between the ages of 10 and 17 and includes his time at Sacred Heart, where he met all the Sacred Heart boys today. Confrontare esto ver.
Woohoo!
I first met Nick at the tender age of 11. I remember walking through the schoolyard and noticed a guy playing yo-yo in the corner by himself. Intrigued, I went over and asked him what he was doing, to which he showed me his extensive bag of tricks.
Let's go.
First one he showed me was walking the door.
Around the world might not work.
And of course his signature move, rock the baby. So I went home that night and I begged my mum to take me to buy a yo-yo that evening. The very next day I turned up with a yo-yo. We did some tricks together and since then have done a few more. And been best mates ever since. Clearly we pulled each other's strings. I grew up with two sisters, so Nick, you were like a brother to me. We became inseparable. Bit touching here. Rowing every day, rugby, and getting up to mischief after school. Along with Jamie, I refer to myself as the third Maloney brother. Spending many summers at Matapuri, often unsuccessfully trying to smuggle hard liquor under the watchful eye of Joe. Our relationship grew and developed into a more sophisticated one, boasting fireworks, using and making fake IDs, and generally any activity that would push the boundaries at the ripe age of 15. Our official title in those days amongst the rowing mothers was Double Trouble. We barely escaped from being kicked out of the rowing squad or school altogether. I'm not sure at that time whether we were smart, this is the story Rick actually touched on with the afterball, but I'm not sure if we were actually smart or stupid at the time, as we were almost expelled at sixth form for the antics that we had at the afterball, only to arrive the following year in the seventh form's dean office exclaiming we wanted to organise the next. Now, you might be asking, and obviously you've found out today how and Nick first met. Obviously it's a bit of a debate, but I can actually vouch for Nick because I was actually there. And how do I know this, you may ask? Well, I actually helped set them up, I feel. I've known Emma for much longer than I have known Nick. Emma and I went to the same primary school, and I have to say, she was always the girl the guys wanted. As Nick mentioned, they first met at the Botany Ice Skating Rink on a group date. And also another story that was touched on was their first kiss. And I'd also like to share the story because I was also there.
That sounds so creepy.
It was a party in which all of our mates got our first ever real kiss. One by one, each couple took the plunge until the only couple left was Nick and Emma. And tell me, I know this sounds weird and very incestuous. All eyes were on them. Nick plucked up the courage and puckered out his lips and went in for the kill, only to be greeted by Emma's cheek. I can tell you it took Nick a long time to live this down. However, obviously you had the last laugh as we are all here today. The last and current phase of Nick's life was a transition from the young dude formerly known as the underscore Ninster to the man that we would to be known as Mullers. The origin of which is probably inappropriate, so I'll withhold from telling you the story. But this phase included getting a degree while being a fully fledged Scarfie in Dunedin, travel and his career. There are many stories during this phase that I would like to tell, but probably inappropriate. And as I said, even though you said you wouldn't, sorry. And I said I wouldn't. With the titles such as The Midnight Boob Fondler and The Blindfolded Spread Eagle. However, if you would like to hear them, please come and see me later tonight. Although Nick and Emma were not together down in Dunedin, they would often have interactions. Typically, this would be Emma messaging Nick the night before the exams asking for answers and notes. As Emma mentioned to me the other day, Nick was about one of 5 guys in which she would utilise to swindle answers. Obviously, Nick, but you're better than the 1 in 5 odds. During this phase and throughout his life, Nick has always had a passion for trying new things and buying the gear to match. I'm not talking any gear. Nick has to have it all. Just like his dad Rickster, obviously. Just don't ask him about his new truck. All the gear with no idea, some would say. He plays 2 games of golf and buys the top of the line golf clubs. Goes out biking and gets the latest mountain bike. He sees a dude wearing a leather jacket. What next, you may ask? He's got a motorbike. Nick turns up at my house to show me his new ride. He sits on the bike and looks over at me as if to say, yeah, I'm badass. He turns the key and kicks the ignition, yet it wouldn't start. Nick, in a red-faced fluster, tries several times and proclaims a mechanical issue with the bike. He calls Ricks to the mechanic to come have a look, and it ends up being the kill switch. That's Nick. That's Nick, and he's only used their bike 3 times since in the last 10 years. In addition, Nick purchased a 32-foot yacht with his brother Jamie after 2 whole beginner sailing lessons. Are you getting the picture? Actually, this turned out to be one of Nick's best purchases, where Nick, Jamie and I spent 3 years racing his yacht called Lightning, transforming from complete novices to being very experienced salty sea dogs. All jokes aside, this shows a lot of Nick's nature. He's always up for a challenge and to try something new. Take the stag party a month ago, where Nick tried a plethora of new things and relished every moment of it. This ranged from giving lap dances to old ladies while dressed in drag, which, sorry Emma, they and he enjoyed a little too much. 2, voluntarily I might add, wearing a pink woman's G-string under his short dress whilst running wild in the streets of Rotorua, with his package flopping out. The good news, however, was that he was treated to a full Monty Brazilian wax the day before. Luckily, as we grew up, he started making better decisions. the best of them being a special day today. He is marrying his best friend and the most beautiful girl he's ever laid eyes on. So here we are today. Little boy Nicholas is now a well-respected and successful financial analyst at a high-profile profile at a property investment company. This is true. It's a mouthful, sorry. A doting dog daddy to fluffy baby Barry, and a fastidious first homeowner with a significant portion of his time devoted to home titivation, and a husband to the girl of his dreams. We, or should I say you, have come a long way, buddy. Or should I say little baby Nicholas, which is obviously not a name which I've made up from, rather it's Emma's pet name for Nick. So, in a funny twist of fate, it kind of sounds like we've come in a full circle from his journey from his mama's boy stage. It would seem that you are both perfectly matched, which I think everyone here today will agree, and can take something away from a quote and a part that I think defines your relationship. That is simply, no amount of time and space can separate you from the people who you're meant to be with in your life. To wrap up, I believe both of you have made the best decision of your life. Emma, Nick is head over heels for you. He's the most driven man I know. His successful career and his personal aspirations are truly to be admired. This guy does it all, whether it's up at 6 a.m. to cycle 100 kilometres around Auckland, or mountain bike as you've heard a lot of today, to get home, to do the chores around the house, and still manages to be the last man standing at most parties. You've picked a winner. Nick, Emma is thoughtful, smart, beautiful, caring, kind, and unbelievably fierce at games. I suppose must have been from growing up with two brothers, and this is why you should always want her on your team. We all saw the raw emotion and love here today, which for all of whom have known Emma for a long time have seen for years now. You two truly have something special and are incredibly lucky to share that common understanding and bond about how you want to grow your life journey together. Whether it's connected passion for exploring or driving your careers or simply just having fun. You are both an amazing match. You are both so lucky to have met each other and your lives are forever richer and you two are truly amazing human beings. On behalf of everyone in the crowd, we love you and we wish you the happiest life together. Can you please all stand and approach the Bible room?